which we appreciate. You know, it's better than doing a satin black or a matte black wrap on a car. Just, you know, past couple of years, that's been the trend is the satin
It's never gonna
white,
die.
satin black.
It's never gonna die.
I want it to.
Everything it's so hard now. It's like, is that a factory satin black car? Or did they just buy that car and wrap it satin black? Welcome to the After Werks Show. I am your host, Neil Mazer, with my co-speaker and co-host, Steve Smith. We are both a part of the Urban Werks team, the Urban Werks brand here, and we decided to start this podcast after work to just talk about some of the fun stuff happening in the industry, and honestly, not even just our industry, the car industry, the automotive detailing industry, the film industry, and the industries that kind of come off of that, because I feel like, you know, in automotive stuff, it really touches quite a bit of more than just vehicles. Let's say that. So start off with a little kind of introduction between the two of us, and then we'll get into our kind of show. So for those that don't know, my name is Neil Mazer. I am the owner and founder of Urban Werks, also known as Urban Werks Detailing, Urban Werks Paint Protection Film, and Urban Werks Motorsports. We have been in business now for going on 10 years in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This has been a dream come true for me, and it's been a massive project that has consumed the better half of my life, and I've turned it into something really amazing. So with that, you know, with creating Urban Werks and with creating the best team that I think we could possibly have, we now want to kind of do something a little different and do this podcast and kind of have some fun and bring culture and experience and all of the goodness of the car community, car culture.
A little bit behind the scenes of the car community.
Yeah, that too, and just have some fun. But before I get into kind of a little bit more on the podcast, do a little bit of quick intro on Steve.
I've been working with Neil for going on 7 years now. Operations manager for Urban Werks, so run the business, do the business kind of behind the scenes stuff. Don't really touch the cars, but appreciate the cars. And
You drive cars and you can move motorcycles.
yeah, one of the few that can move motorcycles, right?
Yep, yep, lost art.
But yeah, just glad to be part of the team and get to see some rare stuff, cool stuff, and have a good time doing it. So
yeah, I know we're both equally excited about the podcast and just getting this started. This has been a enormous project for us, converting this room, getting kind of the list of the people we want to have on, and kind of bring a different approach. I think right now podcasts are pretty hot on the market, but they're kind of boring almost because they're not behind the scenes. They don't actually go into the details of stuff, kind of like you already said. So that's kind of, I guess, the difference of what we're trying to get people to expect with this show, right? So anyway, we created this podcast to, again, bring some different experiences, some stories, some fun talks, talk about business. And there's a lot of guys that want to know how to get to a certain level and they want to listen to that stuff. So I'm definitely going to do a little bit of some segments on that. I know you can join in on that quite a bit since you handle a lot of the operations here. So with that being said, you know, we're going to have good guests on here. We're going to have some cool stories to share, and we just want to kick it off. We're going to kick off today with talking about 2024, right? So, you know, we are, month 2 right now. The quarter's half over. We're seeing some crazy things happen already.
yeah.
That are kind of proving our points, I think, to what we already kind of talked about earlier. So 2024, what does it hold for our industry? What does it hold for the automotive industry, right? What's going to happen? What's going on? And, you know, when we talked about this earlier, the first thing that kind of came to my mind was the PPF industry, the film industry. Obviously, Urban Werks has taken a huge turn over the years to focusing more on film than anything. And with film, you get a couple different categories. You get style, you get protection, retaining value, which kind of comes off of that. Just being able to modify your car per se without damaging your car, right?
Or making it permanent.
Right, without making it permanent and again ruining the value or hurting the value in some shape or form. So I think the 2024 market the industry is going to change as a whole when it comes to film because of the colored PPF that's coming out, the colored satin PPF that's coming out.
Or the different kinds of style film there is.
Patterned
especially
films,
for PPF.
patterned films. Newer brands coming out, trying to go right out the gate, offering, tons of different stuff that we just haven't seen over the years. And I think that's going to make a huge change to this industry. It's going to just completely knock it out of the field. Then, of course, you're going to get all the guys that are going to try to jump on the bandwagon as well, that try to install film, and then it's not going to go in their favor. The customers aren't going to be happy with it. It's just not going to go well.
Yeah.
But it could still, it's going to change things, right? And then on top of that, let's talk about quickly that, the whole thing going on right now with Porsche and Audi and Volkswagen. And we have customers' cars that have been sitting at port since since the first week of January. That's crazy. We've been, expecting quite a few 911s, a couple Cayennes, I believe, a Cayman. There's just a lot of things that we're not getting, and it's not of any, not really anyone's fault per se, other than I guess the people that overlooked the whole factory incident. But
it's going to be a busy spring.
It's going to be a busy spring. And that's you got to think of now the car industry as a whole. So the film industry is getting a whack in one way and a boost in another. Meanwhile, with this kind of happening in the whole Porsche market, are we going to see values go up again? Are we going to see people jumping on more cars? I don't know. It's crazy. What do you think?
I mean, the more difficult the car is to get, the more expensive it is usually.
Right.
So
right.
The 911's being held up. That's only going to drive the price up.
Yeah.
Whatever dealer can get one into the U.S.
Right. You got to think about the guy that might jump ship and look to see where he can find one. And, there's, off the top of my head, I'm thinking there's a Dakar waiting. There's two Turbo S's. There's a third Turbo S. Like I said, a Cayenne. I think there's a Cayman or a Boxster or something. I think it's Cayman. That's we know that's getting held up, but that's just Lancaster, PA. I wonder what it's like across the whole board of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be a mess.
It's just gotta be crazy. So we talked about this earlier. The film, I think, is going to be crazy and change everything, right? But then you brought up an interesting point on what you think. You chose a color for this year.
Well, with vinyl wraps, especially with companies like Anazatec that are just putting out insane colors, S-Tech with the PPF, I have a feeling 2024 is going to be the color green. We're so used to seeing these white and black silver cars,
right.
So generic. You look at a Starbucks drive-through, it's all white and black vehicles, and
that's a good point.
But with people finding out and venturing into these temporary solutions like vinyl, I think we're going to see a lot of green cars this year.
So that's the color. I mean, I'd have to agree. Obviously,
it's not too loud, but everybody appreciates it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
the old heads can appreciate it. Some of the newer folks that are getting into buying their first new car.
And which we appreciate. It's better than doing a satin black or a matte black wrap on a car. Just, past couple of years, that's been the trend is the satin
it's never
white,
die.
Satin black.
It's never going to die.
I want it to.
Everything, it's so hard now. It's is that a factory satin black car? Or did they just buy that car and wrap it satin black?
Be original.
All right, well said.
Coming from the guy who drives a pink car.
Hey, come on. I agree with you on the green. Obviously, I ordered a car in green, and I love green. I've always wanted a green car, so especially a green Porsche. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I agree with you. What I don't like about that is that I hope not everybody follows and has a green car, because then it's not gonna be unique.
I mean, like you said, it's what, the end of February. We already wrapped the car green.
Yeah.
We did some Damascus. What was the Model X? What did we do on that?
Dyno Prism.
Dyno Prism.
Aztec Dyno Prism.
So some already like wild out of the box stuff. So I'm already excited for this year.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting year, 2024, man. It's I don't know 100% what to expect with everything, but I do know that, like, I agree it's going to be like the year of color almost. There's going to be more colorful cars. I think green's going to be the contender. I think there's going to be some purples, some different reds coming out. I know brands are just trying to be different. There's a lot of that, like, I always get yelled at for this because it's just like a weird term in my head. Like, Sarah always mentions, like, I wouldn't call it that, but pastel colors. I call them pastel colors. Colors that, like, suck light. They just take the light away from the car, and it shows so much more of the body of the car, and the gloss doesn't quite. So, like, we know...
would Nardo Gray be on
yes, that's what I was going to say. Nardo Gray, chalk, like Sandstorm or something that Toyota does, that tan color. Those colors, like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not flat, it's not satin, it's not matte, but it takes the gloss away almost. But it's not. It's weird. I think of pastel. I don't know why I think of that. But, yeah, this year is going to be weird. And paint colors are going to be fun. And then, of course, add the filaments. Now you got this crazy mixture of what's actually going to happen. And we're seeing the interest rates are going all over the place. Pricings of cars are coming down. Then some are going up. It's just going to, like, what are we going to see, you know? Like, for a couple of years there, all we saw was Teslas. And you're kind of seeing a little bit of a change with that. Not too many Teslas coming in, way more higher end cars. And not to say that, you know, Teslas aren't somewhere in the upper end, I would say, of things. I don't quite think they're at level of Porsche or anything, but we're seeing more people go with Porsche. More people go on BMW, Audi, Mercedes. Like, they're going for more luxury brands.
One thing that surprised me is the amount of Hyundais.
It's crazy.
The EV Hyundais.
The EV people, is it 5, 6?
Ioniqs.
Yep.
They're going to be contender with the EV market, I think. They already are.
They're kind of dominating it a little. I mean, obviously Tesla completely beats everybody out, but they're doing really well. Rivian's releasing the R2, I think, whatever today is, like March 4th or 3rd. I'm interested to see what that looks like. That's going to be huge. Like, but then on top of that, Toyota's sticking to the whole, they don't think that EVs are going to work and that hybrid cars are going to be the better way to go. And it's like, well, for us, we don't see a crazy amount of Toyota products. So, like, I'm interested to see how that goes. But we do see a lot of EVs, and we see them from all over the place. And they don't offer good paint colors, and they typically don't offer anything that's really, like, I don't know, specific to them, right? So that makes our job a little different then, because now we're going to have more people come in and, like, I want this EV whatever to not be black, and I want, you know, a green, a purple, a pink, a yellow, whatever it might be.
Right.
And now we have the opportunity to offer them vinyl or PPF, which from a business owner standpoint is great. You have more opportunity.
We like doing it too. It's fun work.
It is. It's probably the most how would I call it? Satisfying. Right?
See a transformation.
Yeah, it's like you get to just kind of see it all unveil in front of you, unwrap while we're wrapping the car.
So, over, what was it, in December, you took a little trip to New York.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What'd you do there?
So, you know, I went to the GYEON show I participated in the GYEON show at Classic Car Club Manhattan, which is a super cool place. I know we've talked about going up there. It's only a couple-hour drive from here, but it's this it's an old NYPD stable. They converted into this event space that then has, like, cool cars that you can rent if you're a member. It's got, like, a restaurant bar set up. It's got a room with Sims. Kind of the perfect hangout clubhouse for, like, any car enthusiast, really. So we shot the GYEON show there, hung out with all the guys from the team GYEON. It was a blast. We had so much fun. And it's just nice to see people that you don't get to see all the time, but you get to talk to.
You also got to see the new lineup of stuff,
yeah, right. So obviously with the GYEON show, it's kind of like their answer to SEMA, and they release all of their new products on the GYEON show, whereas most companies do SEMA or another big trade show. GYEON, which I thought was super cool this year, was they redefined all of the heavy hitters: wet coat, iron wheel cleaner, like clay lube, a couple of their polishing compounds. The coating, the consumer grade coatings all got a bump up to Evo, that Evo setting, that Evo standard, I should say. And then they also came out with new products. And a lot of that stuff is going to be great for us as a business, right, to use in the back of the shop. But it's also going to be cool to have these new products to offer customers and clients that want to take care of their own cars, because now I honestly feel like they cover the entire basis. There is absolutely not a product in their lineup that you wouldn't need, and there's nothing outside of it that you really need. So but the one thing that was kind of cool, I know that you said that it was one that you really liked, was the
Purify.
Yeah, the Purify lineup. So, yeah.
Well, with COVID, everyone's really cautious about germs and bacteria. And, I mean, it's genius that GYEON, addressed that concern for consumers. I mean, you have a soccer minivan picking up kids every day, and they got germs and stuff. It's get the interior coated and protected, and that way you're a little bit safer, cleaner, and not spreading germs. And it's for any vehicle. It's
not even for vehicles.
You can use countertops and kitchens, households.
Like this couch you could coat with it. The entire interior of the vehicle, and then obviously interiors of your home, interior of your business.
I think that's going to be a big thing this year. Like I said, after COVID, everyone's cautious of it now, and who knows when the next pandemic's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but
right.
We weren't expecting it before, so
you got to be prepared. you just got to start taking strides, and I think a lot of people have I don't want to say a lot of people. There are some people that are back in the rustle and bustle, and they completely forgot about it. GYEON in, the back room of, HQ is like, this is a problem. It's going to happen again. Let's do something about it now before it comes back up, and we weren't prepared, kind of thing. And, there's two sides of this. One, it's perfect for protection. It's perfect to give an extra barrier between, you potentially catching something that you don't want and that nobody wants. The other side of it is it opens up a door for folks in our industry to offer a new service and a new quality service that can honestly help the client so much. And I think that's really big, because we obviously focus a lot on experience. We focus on customer relationship. We focus on being human, right? And having that connection. That service is like, what's better than me? I want to help you. I want to protect what you have. I want to keep you safe. It's kind of the whole thing of what we do. So I think that
with the economy, everyone's watching where they put their money. They're only putting their money into things that make sense, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good point. Yeah.
So.
No, I completely agree with that. It totally makes sense. The product should hit market this month into next month, at least for the United States. I know that doesn't go for any other country, because I can't speak on how the network works for those. But for the U.S., I do know from my contacts with GYEON that we should be seeing these products within the next 60 days or so. I'm super excited. I got space on the shelves ready to go for the stuff that we can sell, and I'm super excited for the Purify lineup and anything else that we can just kind of throw in the back and utilize. I'm a big GYEON fanboy, so it makes all the sense in the world. Again, it was a great time, and we will be going to Classic Car Club soon as like a group thing. I definitely want to do that. So
I can't wait.
All right, so 2024 has got a lot in store. we're going to follow up with this, I think, as we shoot this show, right? Like, as the episodes go by, we're going to kind of see what's happening in 2024, touch on it a little bit more.
We'll have some experts on the show.
Yeah, we can kind of talk with a couple of our contacts, a couple of our people in the industry, and see what's going on, what's 2024 looking like, and maybe even see then what's 2025 going to look like, which, man, we're talking well, Mercedes already said they're done with EV 2030, so God only knows what's going to happen there, but I don't really feel like we're in as much of a time crunch as we were. Like, it was 2030, but, like, are we going to get to 2029? Everyone's going to be like, yeah, we're not. This isn't happening. We're just going to go to 2035, 2040. I can't even think that far ahead, so, like, you know.
I'm not even worried.
I know. I'm still planning on, like, what's happening here. So, all right. So, we talked about this for a while. We're going to do the shop question at the end of every episode. And I hate to say it, this question, I think it kind of heated some folks when we asked them. Maybe these people will be watching this episode and be like, oh man, he's really going to throw me under the bus like that. Yeah, I am, because I think this question is like a fun question. And I know me and you are on a similar page, so it might not be like crazy to the people kind of watching and listening. But all right, here's the question. If you had unlimited money, just take it out of your mind. Like, you could spend whatever you want. It wouldn't make an impact on your life, right? At any moment. You go out to eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, I don't care. Whatever your favorite time of day is to have a meal. How much would you spend for that meal? And it could be whether it's based on the food, or it could be based on the experience. It could be based on pleasing your spouse, I guess, with a really nice time, or your best friend, or your family member. Like, what, right now, without even really thinking about it, how much money would you drop on a meal?
I wouldn't. It's one of those things where, yeah, one time, do it for fun, say you did it. I wouldn't put a number on it. You're doing it for the experience. I would say a couple grand. Why not? You take your woman out to dinner and not worry, and just ball out and get whatever you want, do whatever you want.
Have like the best steaks in the world, or have the best sushi. Or
mine would be steak. I would want the most expensive steak known to man, the Wagyu, cooked right. You know, I'll pay for that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I completely agree. We just talked about this earlier. 5 to 10 grand. If I could do it,
I don't know what you're buying.
I drop 5 to 10 grand on this. If I could,
you could buy the whole cow, get all unlimited.
Yeah, but
steaks.
like, you know, when you're spending that much money, you're not getting like crazy portion. I would hope that I'm getting like 14 like different courses,
or like a $5,000 bottle of wine.
I guess. And I don't even really like wine. I don't even drink.
But you'll do it just to say you did it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have a glass.
I'm curious to see what a $5,000 bottle of wine tastes like.
I mean, I know what a $5,000 bottle of whiskey tastes like, and I honestly can't tell you why it tastes. Why it's $5,000? It
just burns longer.
I forget the most expensive one that Derek brought. I think it was like almost 10 grand. I have to ask him again. I think it was like 10 grand. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. But I would still, like, if I could, I would do it.
I'm curious to see what our audience would say.
Yeah. All right. So then let's change this up. We're going to do shop question every time. If you're watching this on YouTube, can you comment on Spotify? I don't think you can. I don't know. I heard that was changing. Whatever. Wherever you're seeing this, if there's a comment box, tell us how much money you would spend on dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever it would be. It can't be like a trip. It has to be like a singular meal right then and there.
Breakfast.
2 people at most. Yeah, I know. If you spend 10 grand on breakfast, like,
that would be an awesome breakfast.
What would that breakfast look like, dude? You know, and it could be anything within the realm of a meal, 2 people. Doesn't matter how much money. Doesn't matter the food. Doesn't matter you could have a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle or something like that. Could, I guess, increase your meal quite substantially. Something of that nature. So post up what you got, and maybe on the next one we'll just start out with like reading the answers,
That'd be hilarious.
or just to see what people say. I'm sure a lot of the comments are going to be just absolutely ridiculous because keyboard warriors, but it would still be funny. I mean, it's amusing. So, all right, so I think that's the end of our first episode. Please get used to seeing my face and get used to seeing Steve's face. We're going to be on here as frequently as we can be. So obviously we have to run a business and try to do that stuff, but this is for fun. So we're going to try to hop on here at least once a month, maybe twice a month once we get down with it. But stay tuned for the next episode. We do have a special guest for us coming on. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And yeah, all right, guys, it was great. And we'll see you on the next one.
Later.